is you interlock the two.
Now stretch them quite as...
Soccer. And the...
Quiet, please. In exactly 15 seconds, we'll be on the air.
I felt like a reptile. Like a reptile. I felt like a reptile.
Good to be sponsored by Tetley, wouldn't it? Or Pyramid. Who would you have?
I don't know. Honestly, for as much tea as I drink, I don't notice that much fucking difference between the tea bags.
No.
I do find that the decaf Tetleys tastes better than regular Tetleys, though.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why that is, but...
I was a bit of a tea snob, and I was buying Pyramid bags, and I was telling everyone I'll only drink Pyramid bags.
Yeah.
And then when I'd been to my dad's, my stepmom had been using Sainsbury's decaf for about 15 years, and I didn't know.
And you fucking loved it.
I loved it. So I just had to have a word
Regular
with myself.
bags?
Yeah.
Fucking keeps that. I don't know what's going on. It was all right. It's been all right for ages.
Is it because maybe it's a PNG, it's too big?
Look. Nah, it's the fucking TV or something.
Do we need a bigger telly? Do we need a new, bigger QLED telly?
Hashtag don't tell
Don't
what.
tell what.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Full Reptile Radio. It's been a little while.
We've been busy.
We have been fucking mad busy.
Yeah.
Black Friday.
Busy sat on settees.
Is this going to be up for Black Friday? With that organised? You reckon? What day is it?
Wednesday. Wednesday today. Yeah.
You reckon? Yeah. Oh, look at that. Okay. So, yeah, Black Friday, you can still be excited about it because it's not yet happened. We've got 20% off everything.
And a free pin badge.
It's one of the nice ones, isn't it?
It is one of the nice ones. And
one of the ones I wear on a suit jacket.
On a lapel.
Why not?
Well, the thing is, it can double as an extra gift.
It can.
So if you're thrifty, if you know what you're doing, you can give someone a T-shirt.
Yep.
And you can overcommit by giving a pin badge as well and make out you bought it. Or if you've got one of them relatives that you don't particularly like or know what to buy for, they can backwards research a pin badge and it's probably a tenner on the site, and they can think, oh, I owe that motherfucker a tenner now.
Here's another use for it. You could put the pin badge face up with the pin.
Yeah.
And every day when you come home, you can stick your receipts on it.
Yes.
And then you put the clip on at the end of the month and pass that on to Wad.
Yeah.
And then he has all the receipts that he's looking for. He ain't losing his shit.
That's a few receipts, though, isn't it? Most people got them big spikes.
I don't spend that much money. I don't know.
If I'm sending Wad like 9 pin badges,
you're the one ordering the T-shirts. I don't know how many receipts you need. How many pin badges do you need for that?
Oh fucking hell! Well, I've literally been dealing with all the new prints for the Black Friday and anything new.
Yeah.
And
we've got some new colours of rough house stuff, haven't we?
Yeah.
So we're in Bullet. We've come colour coordinated today, haven't we?
Have we? We've fully done it.
Black Flag, Black Friday.
Yeah. I mean, we were colour coordinated that day. We've done it today.
What people keep buying are the rough house ones. Are those the rough house lifestyle hoods?
The grey lifestyle box hood has gone really well. I thought you'd worn one because I came round.
I think
and
it's
I was
V,
like,
you know.
Yeah, she must have done, because the thing is, I can always tell what you've been wearing either on a war room or an event or wherever you've been, because then obviously there's a bit of an uptake in sales. But it was the rough house embroidered. And then now it's the Black Flag sweatshirt, you know, the grey sweat with the mini-skirt. Because it was this time last year.
I do have one of those.
Yeah, mate, I love that.
Yeah.
I'm not a big sweatshirt person, but I've made an exception for most of the sweatshirts that we make.
So what have you been up to?
Just all sorts. Just mad busy. Obviously.
Bowling?
I went bowling.
How was that? And you need to fill us in the new Call of Duty, because I have yet to commit myself to buying it.
So the new Call of Duty is incredible for me because, as I'm sure you know, I think there's 3 developers that make it. So there's always like good COD, shit COD. So we had a good one a couple of years ago, which was the Modern Warfare that you've been playing, which had shipment and stuff. And then the latest one that came out before Vanguard was just awful.
Was it?
I didn't really get on with it. I didn't like it. It was a bit shit. But at least we know now we're on the other side of the shit. So we've got 2 good CODs to come. So the Vanguard one, a lot of people are comparing it to the one we were playing last because it's just a reskin of that.
Right.
But I don't know. I've done that thing where I've kind of got addicted again. And like, you know, when you go from just playing every now and again to hang out with your mates and catch up, I'm finding myself like on a Wednesday night because my youngest is now playing.
Right.
And because I've set up a class, I've even started watching people on YouTube.
Oh shit! It's getting serious. Now.
Seriously, there's a guy. He's called E. coli Espresso, and I don't know why, but his name online is Espresso. But you know when you watch someone who can literally ice 25 people without him being touched, automatically like, oh, okay, maybe.
How much time would you have to spend playing to be able to do that?
I don't know. I think
how much school would you have to fail to be able to do that?
I think it's justification of the failure because it's good. Like, he's got a career now.
Well, that's the fucking thing. Like that, you know, back in the day when we were playing video games, it was like, turn the Nintendo off, you're never going to make a living playing video games.
Which is bullshit now. Yeah. Welcome to YouTube, Mum. But the thing is, I wasn't even allowed music on when I was revising or doing homework. I couldn't have the TV on. I couldn't have music on. It was silence.
Yeah, but that makes sense because your brain's bouncing all the time anyway.
Yeah, but I always need music on. But I've got music playing in my head right now.
Yeah.
There's music playing in my head.
I say that to Veronica. She laughs at me.
Oh, mate, I'm always grooving. Yeah. Always.
Uh-huh.
And
I've got the new D'Antwoord album playing in the back of my head.
Oh, mate, whatever I've got.
That tune, what's it called, Jamie? Open the Door. Yeah. Banging.
Oh, I had Juicy. You know, Biggie, the other day. That's why when I texted you and said, we need some more Smalls, but not Christopher Wallace, that's because that tune's constantly in my head. So when my mum was saying you can't do that, it completely spun me out.
Yeah.
So I would struggle more because then I think if I was tested, I would be at least dyslexic or I'd be on some sort of scale, I'm pretty sure, because of my concentration issues, because every one of my reports lacks concentration, distracts others, easily distracted. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like I wasn't trying, because that was even in the stuff that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
So if I knew, obviously, if you know YouTube's coming, you just invested, so you wouldn't have had to fucking work anyway. But these guys are now playing, and they're fucking brilliant.
But like Call of Duty would hold your attention more than other things.
Yeah, like I can still remember all the moves, and I know we spoke about it before. I know all the cheat codes for Sonic. I can remember all the moves for Mortal Kombat. I know all the finishing moves and all the special moves for Street Fighter.
Is that right?
I don't need to know, but they're there. They're in there. And it's like when Libby played. I mean, she's 9. And literally, her Twitch reactions to stuff are fucking insane. Because I'm 40, and I like to think I know what I'm doing. So obviously, you do that thing where, I'll set you up a class or whatever. And basically, I changed all the settings for her because she's got little hands, and I've got like stick extenders and all this sort of stuff. And she started off with a machine gun, and she's doing that thing where she'll see someone and she'll chase them, pulling the trigger. So she's like, click, 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 and then the guy will turn around and be like, bang. So she started off with like 2 or 3 kills. Exactly.
Yeah.
We all start there. We all start up really excited.
Maybe I need the pad setting up for little hands.
Yeah. Maybe I need to give you her class.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. That makes sense.
So I watched this one guy, and he made a shotgun class, and he got 300 and something kills in a game.
Right.
Which I was like, yo, marry me. So I sat and copied the class, and the thing that he was doing, he wasn't aiming down the sights. So you know when you pull your left trigger to scope up, right trigger to shoot, he was basically just hip firing.
Boom.
Yeah. And there were the difference in the time made a massive, massive difference.
That's what I was doing on shipment that one time when we were playing online. I just sprint in a circle and just keep pulling the shotgun trigger.
But that was the first time you played. You're just like 1 minute, boys.
Fucking sweeping.
Everyone's dead. Yeah, but that's what it was. It was on shipment.
Like that Bill Burr thing. You know, have you seen the one where he's talking about he goes in to buy a gun?
No.
And the guy, oh mate, you got to check that out. And he's talking about the spray. And I have to fucking find the clip and send it to you. It's one of his. Nice. It might be on his new one, the Paper Tiger one. You know,
I can't remember what happened with that. I started watching it. I think I was watching it with Stace, and she wasn't feeling it. And you know when you're killing yourself, and you're looking over, like, and then they're like, they're like this. Oh yeah,
yeah. You're like, okay.
It's so good. You're like,
it's time to turn this off.
Yeah, well. Let's watch Big Mouth again. So,
new series is fucking good.
Have you watched it?
Yeah, all the way through.
I'm just glad that Shane Lizard's back.
He is good.
He's the best.
He is good.
I think that's the best thing, and I know this might sound weird as a parent, but for my daughter, who's 13, and she's maturing as a person, she had so many like weird thoughts and feelings, and to turn into a teenager now and go through everything that kids are going through. We said to her, watch Big Mouth.
Yeah.
Not with us, just on your own. No. Because we literally...
She started season 1 then?
She's done a lot. Oh, she's done a lot. And honestly, the amount of questions it answered for her, or just put her in perspective of what she's thinking is normal. Because even with Jay, and he's fucking pillows and doing insane stuff.
I like this kid.
Yeah.
I think he might be his own hormone monster.
Exactly. The difference is you all have them weird thoughts, but when someone doesn't know how to deal with it and they can see it's normal, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it's going to go down in like parents night or whatever.
Did you see the more recent episode where what's his name, Nick Kroll?
Yeah, it was in it.
He was actually in it.
Yeah,
and he's like, yeah, but this is all my dramas from childhood playing
exactly.
out. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I was trying to tell her, because I was saying, listen, this is all legit things that people go through. She's like, no, it's not. I was like, watch the last episode with Nick Kroll, and she's like, oh, okay. And then when she saw it, because there was the puppet one as well, wasn't there, at Christmas?
It's fucking good, that
Honestly,
was.
all of it is...
And she puked up string all over the couch.
Amazing. Amazing. It was so good.
They just don't make them fast enough for me, for my appetite. It's the same as like F is for family and stuff. I need more. Like, I need an episode a day, really.
I think that...
Like, fucking... But we were talking about this yesterday. Jamie's sitting just off camera. We were talking about Boba Fett coming out on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like 40 minutes a week for like...
I don't like being drip fed.
I don't like it.
Don't drip feed me anymore.
I've only just watched the Harry Potter whole thing. Series.
Because it's all there.
It's all there.
That's the
start to finish.
That I think, because you get so conditioned to stuff being dropped.
Look,
it's like...
We've got a Sirius Black.
Oh, it's not Barry Trotter.
He's not.
See, Stace in the...
I mean, there are a lot of figures that could double. Did you see the figures that someone had made for the Lines and Nines podcast of Jimmy and Josh?
Really?
I don't know who they actually are, but they were never figures of Jimmy and Josh.
The only way
they've got full Reptile t-shirts painted on them.
Nice.
Pretty good.
The only way you could get Josh is if you could get a voice box in the figure.
Yeah.
And because he's just got a real...
Yeah.
No
one walks like Josh.
No.
You know what I mean? He's like the opposite of Craig Turner, isn't he?
Is he an inverted?
He's like
them salt and pepper pots that look like they're hugging.
But you can tell he's been boxing for a long time. Cause he's got their kind of
the crane.
He's like rounded into a guarded position where Craig Turner's all fucking
out.
He's all right, left and right hooks. They had the boxing match. Did you see?
I did.
Craig Turner and Marcus Mee. They did the charity boxing match
in their trainers.
Fucking brilliant.
It was brilliant. I saw the pictures.
Good bunch of lads.
Yeah. But
where were we? Harry Potter.
Well, just being drip fed. I think.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
It's all about the first thing that screwed us was Lost, because the series came out in probably 2003, and I can remember watching 2 or 3 episodes, and someone at work was like, "I've got the full season," and I lost my shit. I think we had 3 days off work. Me and Stacey did. We pulled a sickie, and we rinsed. I think at the time there was 22 episodes per season, because it used to be 24 that sort of started the seasons off. With
Kiefer
Jack
Sutherland.
Bauer, Kiefer.
And Lost Boys.
Exactly.
It's the blood
Young
sucking
Guns.
Brady
More
Bunch.
about Young Guns. He's Doc, isn't he?
I don't remember Young Guns too much. I know the movie. I don't remember it too much, though. You know what I mean?
Billy the Kid?
Like, yeah. I just don't... It doesn't come to mind when I think of it.
Oh, man, we were
like,
obsessed
there are some
with that
movies
film.
that, like I can think about it right now. Like Goonies, I could walk you through each stage of the movie. You know what I mean? But then if I go Back to the Future... I don't know Back to the Future nearly as well as I know, like, Indiana Jones.
Okay.
Like, I watch them a lot more. Like, Star Wars, I'm fucking all over Star Wars. But Ghostbusters, I couldn't tell you the difference between the Rocky movies. And I know a lot of people are going to be pissed off, but it just never really fucking interested me too much, Rocky.
See,
it was always a bit...
Rocky 3 and 4 for me. I was never bothered about...
Sloths and Goonies, I don't need them in Rocky
I don't need them in both.
Hey, you guys.
But Rocky... I was never really Rocky 1 and 2, because the Apollo Creed Rocky thing, I was never that bothered.
Yeah.
It didn't sell it. But Mr. T, I'm all about Mr. T. I need to see that.
Of course.
But the thing is...
Fucking 18 was good, wasn't it?
That's it. But you were conditioned by the episodes you recorded yourself or what videotapes you had in the house, because there was no insane video collection like people used to have DVD collections. Like,
so you
didn't have it.
So you'd have been... Because we have kind of identical childhoods, which is odd. Like, you would have had those videotapes which had like 3 or 4 things on it.
Yeah, that was yours.
That was yours. That's your tape.
Yeah,
like
I got one every year for Christmas. A blank tape.
A blank tape.
Yeah,
of course. Because then you can build your own video library.
Then I've got this year's Only Fools and Horses special. Honestly, we had Miami. The problem is, au revoir, Rodders. But we had the best episode in my opinion of Only Fools and Horses is Miami Twice. So there's 2 parts to it.
That's one of the later ones, right?
Yeah, it's when he is married to Raquel and he has got Damien.
Yeah.
And Rodders is married to Cassandra.
The episode where Damien was born was fucking gold.
Yeah, mate, all of it. So the whole thing I've always loved. But the problem was that Christmas, I recorded part 1 and my sister recorded part 2. And me and my sister had a really bad, like, we fell out a lot.
Oh,
so, you know, if you wanted to watch the whole thing, it was a fucking nightmare because I would have to pay in blood and something. She would need a token of something.
You don't need
for
that.
me, ever. But she would have had something of my Christmas box.
You don't need like political, you know, relationship management.
Just because she recorded it, because we were getting on that day. Yeah. But
you get your own videotape next year.
That's what I do now. So now when she asks me for stuff, I'm like, you know, I mean, shit off me. She asked me to use the van to move a house the other day. I was like, no, you didn't let me watch Miami twice.
You can have episode 2 and episode 5.
That's it. Yeah, you're not
and
having
I'll tell you what happens in the rest.
Exactly. But
so what was on your tape then?
So we had there was Overboard,
right,
which is amazing. Goldie Hawn, Kurt Russell. My sister had Far and Away, Dirty Dancing, and Pretty Woman. So your classic 3 lady films. Then I had Young Guns 1, and I had
Bon Jovi did the song for that, didn't he?
The second one he did, Blaze of Glory.
Blaze of Glory.
But it was the
powerful music.
Mate, the thing is, I loved the film, but it got banned because my little brother watched it too much and got obsessed with cowboys, and there was a lot of swearing. And like, you'd walk in a room and he'd just pull a hot pistol and go, "I'll make you famous." Like, listen, he's 6. My mum had to hand make him a whole costume for this, because he was obsessed. So we got banned from watching Bottom and Young Guns because Will. Bear in mind, there's 7 years between me and Will, and 9 years between Will and Leanne.
Right.
So at my mum's house, we were say 11, 12, and obviously he's like 3 or 4, but he's picking up on shit. So it got to the point where we weren't allowed to watch that, so we had to watch it in secret. But we had, like, my mum used to record stuff for us, so we'd say to her, "Oh, Total Recall's on." So for however many years, I didn't know the first 20 minutes of Total Recall, which is basically the whole plot of him going into an alternate universe in a virtual reality state.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was real. So I'm watching Total Recall going, "Oh my God, that was good, lads." And they're like, it was a dream. Well, it was a fucking dream, honestly. And then...
Yeah, that's no good. Especially those movies, especially the movies where the credits were at the start of the movie. Yeah. You need that first 20 minutes, otherwise the rest of it makes no sense.
I need the intro,
right?
Otherwise I'm fucked.
Like, I had Demolition Man. I had the same problem with that. I was missing the start of Demolition Man, you know. But fortunately, I watched it, so I knew.
Yeah.
So by the time I got into it, he'd already been released from cryo.
Oh, okay.
Rocky was already out on the loose, realising he's got new knitting skills and shit.
What,
Can't
the shells
wait the seashells.
Don't know that.
It's a clusterfuck at the point I start to watch it, but that's all right because I've already got the first bit logged up here. I only need to watch that bit once.
As long as it's in there. Otherwise...
There we go.
Otherwise, it's like, why are these guys falling out? They should be bros.
Exactly.
Surely they should be bros.
I had Goonies, one of my favourites of all time. I had Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
We had that.
Fucking brilliant.
A birdie.
It's the bit where there's the museum shit at the end.
Oh, mate.
And it all comes out and it's marching across the hillside and the fucking Nazis are freaking out.
With Nazis?
Yeah.
What are we going to put in this kids' film? Nazis?
Nazis.
Yeah, let's do it.
Witchcraft and Nazis.
Obviously.
That's growing up in England.
They go hand in hand. That's why whenever you go to America or speak to them, they expect you to either live with the Queen, know Harry Potter, and obviously have a deep connection with Nazis. Of
course.
Because they've watched Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But
fucking brilliant movie, though,
honestly, the thing is, I think everyone has like weird random shit that they watch. Like there's a cartoon that I watched as a kid. It was actually a stop motion animation. And it's about a penguin called Sonny Duckworth that lived with a porcupine called Theobald, something like Theobald. And there was an old inventor called Theodore Rimspoke that designed a racing car. And this is all stop motion animation, okay? So you can look it up.
Potentially is someone watching this right now going, fuck, I remember that shit.
Exactly. Okay. So bear in mind...
I reckon there's like 2 other people
maybe
out there.
2, maybe 3. But I looked for this shit, and I was talking to the kids about this the other day because one of the kids was trying to remember a cartoon from when they were a kid. And we literally Googled for, 15 seconds, and we're like, this one, she's like, yeah. And it's out of her brain. I've had this from when I was 4, when I went through, as a child of divorce, I got damaged through this, and I threw myself into my cartoons and shit to be able to cope. So I used to call this program Gwenny Gwenny. So when I wanted to watch it, I'd say, "Mom, I want to watch Gwenny Gwenny." She's like, "Cool." And basically the premise was Theodore Rimspoke was the greatest inventor in the world, lived on a mountain, and he invented this car, which was fucking amazing, right? The fastest racing car. And there was these 2 bad guys called Snake Oil that came in and they sabotaged the car. One of them used to work for him. It's because there was a big race the next day where there was a like an oil sheik that was coming in to watch. So the race happens and it all kicks off and blah, blah, blah. So that was in 1986, 87 when I watched that, and I was obsessed with this thing. And it was on my brain forever until the only time I found it, I must have been about 27. And I started to Google and trying to backwards find this thing. And it was a thing.
Because you didn't know the actual name
I didn't know the name of it.
Right.
So it's a penguin.
So where did you get the name Gwenny from? Where'd that
Because it's a penguin, Gwen. So
that was just the name you called it as
a kid. My mum was like, "Do you want to watch Gwenny?" I'm like, "Yeah, put it on." Let me watch that porcupine and fucking penguin race in the car with Theodore Rimspoke. But it's from a studio, I think in Sweden, called Flap. It's FLAPJKIA or something like that. And it was called Pinchcliffe Grand Prix. And it won fucking massive awards, and it's been remastered. My sister-in-law bought me the DVD for Christmas one year.
Holy shit!
So it was a massive thing.
That's pretty cool.
But I couldn't find it ever. And it was like there was after the A-Team, there was a cartoon on, and it was a French cartoon, and there used to be the A-Team and Starfleet. Can you remember Starfleet?
I do. I remember the name Starfleet.
It was a bit like Thunderbirds, so they were like the puppets.
Oh, Thundercats.
No, the Thunderbirds are the puppets.
Oh, no, I've got Thunderbirds. No, I haven't. Fucking, where is it?
No,
my dad got me some at Thunderbirds. I have somewhere.
But it was the same sort of. It was the same sort of animation, but it was set in space, and all the pods made like a Megazord with Power Rangers.
Right.
But that was back in the day. So Starfleet had been on, and then this cartoon of this line. And it was a pencil drawing of this little dude just walking along, and the drawing is happening in front of him, and he was just a French dude. It was like 2D flat, and this is fucking insane, me even saying it. And I couldn't find it. And he would just, at the end, he'd go, La Luna, like that. And I was like, oh my God. And it was like a 2-minute cartoon. So I can remember, you know, when you sat daydreaming, and obviously at Egg when I used to not do a lot of work, I'd be like, what can I Google? And I found out it was this mad French cartoon called La Linea, which is another one you can Google. But basically, it was just these weird little snippets that ended up either on the beginning of a tape or the end of a tape that kind of just built your childhood.
Space.
Yeah.
I always had like 2 or 3 adverts that were there that because I'd watched them over and over again, as well as like, do you remember the Mr. Soft one?
Where it was everything all like, around you is so soft and rearranged.
Where everything was like cushions and stuff, wasn't
Apart
it?
from the post box.
Apart from the post box. Yeah, Mr. Soft.
How come
and then the other one was the Betamax one with the re-record not fade away with the fucking skeleton. And
mate,
it's crazy, but they were like
Scotch. That was Scotch tape.
Scotch tape.
Yeah.
They were at the end of Bed Knobs and Broomsticks before Goonies started, and I was like, do I rewind or do I just let it play through?
Yeah, just let it play through the advert.
Sometimes I didn't even get to the third movie on there, which I think was Disney's Robin Hood.
Mate, firing around corners.
Movie.
Nottingham. Loved it.
Like, I've lived there like my whole fucking 7 years of life, and I've never heard anybody say Nottingham.
No.
I mean, in fairness, I'd never seen a chicken play a lute either. So
a rooster.
A rooster was he? Was he a rooster?
I think he associated as a rooster. He could have been a chicken. He might be wearing a rubber glove like Wallace and Gromit.
He was a gender fluid.
But it's like when you say about Goonies. Mate, I never saw it.
What a fucking movie! Have you not seen it?
I've seen it loads now. But when I was a kid, because we didn't have that.
You don't have that like childhood connection to it.
No, whereas Stace has. Stace. So for me,
to Goonies.
Yeah, Stace massively to Goonies. Whereas for me,
She'll have to do the podcast next time.
Yeah, I'll bring her in. Because even when we watched it, like she forgot that there was a dead body in a freezer with a bullet hole in its head,
mate.
And as a kid's
fucking
it's
movie,
gone. You don't even look at that.
All the way through it, there's crazy shit going on. Like taking the piss out the fat boy for a start. Yeah. I mean, that influenced bullying around the world.
Constantly.
That did.
Yeah.
Do the truffle shuffle.
Immediately, it's like the tango slap, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you just run up to someone and give them
that
like,
was
tinnitus.
Violence. That was. They literally banned that at school.
Yeah.
Like, there was a letter that was sent around. We had to take home to our parents.
It got banned at ours.
Like the tango slap.
A lot of people got slapped. I mean, it was fair game because I mean, it's not like you hit a girl, but because it's a tango slap, you're like, all right,
yeah, just advertising, bitch.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? It's only orange juice. Chill the fuck out. But we had because my dad lived next door to a woman that ran the cinema in Ripley, so we used to be able to go there. And for us, the big films, massive films for me in the 80s, other than Back to the Future, which was my Goonies, was probably Crocodile Dundee and Short Circuit.
Mate. Short Circuit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No shit, Stephanie.
Cocoon was one as well. I had that on a tape for
Didn't
a
watch
little
that.
while. Did you not?
No, I've never seen it. Same as like Hellraiser and all those ones. I never saw them. But I had one of the Rambos. I had a Indiana Jones, one of them, you know where it's with short rounds. Dr. Jones! And they're in the hotel and they have to go underground. I can't remember which one it's called.
I don't remember.
But Shorty's driving the thing,
yeah.
which is fucking great.
He's in Goonies as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's fucking brilliant.
Data.
Here's a cartoon that you might remember because they always used to play this during like the 6 weeks holidays from school, and it was called City of Gold.
Come with us to the city
Golden
of
Condor,
Gold. Yeah.
right?
One day you'll find. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Yes, because it was the same animators that did Jason the Wheel Warriors.
It's fucking good, that was.
Yes.
I've got it
but
all
it was
on DVD.
long.
I've got it all on DVD. Yeah,
The
that's
City of
good.
Gold.
Yeah,
Mate,
because that's why they would put it on during the school holidays.
Yeah,
Because they
apologies
get
for
the
my
whole
singing.
fucking... No, it was wonderful. I mean, we're going to clip that and use it as advertising for the podcast, I think.
We'll start with the One Day You'll Find, because that is the beginning of the song. Honestly, I loved it.
I mean, I've got the whole thing. It's like a series, but they would put it on during the school holidays, and it would be on at like 7 o'clock in the morning.
And it would run till midday. And he had like a white tabard on, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, with long dark hair.
Yeah, and a little bangs haircut, like Pulp Fiction
And they always had like a little mascot friend, like, you know the guy off Jason with the Wheel Warriors, and he was like a little metal dude with a pump on his head.
Yeah.
Because it was the same animators that did Jason the Wheel Warriors.
That was fucking good.
City of Gold.
What was the one with the rings? The planet.
Oh, Captain Planet.
Captain Planet.
No, it was a different one, different animator. But the main one I was going to say was, can you remember Pole Position? 2 cars. There was like a red muscle car.
I remember a game called Pole Position.
That was the F1 one. This was an animation series, and there was 2 friends, and they looked just like the same characters from City of Gold and Jace. But it was one was like a blue muscle car, and one was a red sports car. I'll sing you the song, but you've got too much of me singing now, so I'm not going to do it. But yeah, the Captain Planet. It was weird because my cousin was into that, and it was kind of once I was on my way out of cartoon. I'm way back into cartoons now.
Oh, yeah.
But you know when you're hitting 11, 12, you're
like new cartoons though.
No.
Like have the girls got anything good to watch as kids? Like is it like because we had good shit to watch.
The thing is that I was talking to someone the other day because it was actually Libby's teacher because she's massively into Jurassic Park and her favourite's the first one. So we've done something right.
Brilliant.
And her teacher called me over and she said, "Have you?" Libby says she's not watched Indiana Jones. I was like, "You fucking have."
Called me into school for this.
Yeah, you've watched them all. I'd rather go in for that than anything else because I can quote Indiana Jones. I don't know my other bits.
I'm just picturing the conversation now, sitting on those little tiny
little chairs, knees
fucking
under my
plastic
armpits.
stools with the hole in the back.
Yeah, all right.
So I'm hearing that your daughter's not seen Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
We just want to make sure that there's no...
Is everything all right at home?
Yeah.
Because the 4th one doesn't count anyway.
It'll be on again this Christmas.
Yeah. You know, if you want to record it, you can press pause during the adverts and it won't record them.
Yeah.
Oh, mate. I've got a story about that with a guy I worked with at Egg, and his name was Tucker. And he came in one day and he was devastated.
Yeah.
Absolutely mortified. I can't remember if I've told you this before. You remember the Three Kings film with Ice Cube and Clooney?
Yeah.
Where it was was it Saddam's gold?
Yeah, and they ended up with fucking loads of stolen...
Everything. But it was like...
I mean, I'm happy for you, but, you know, it probably belongs to somebody else.
It's someone else's. So you're doing this to steal it back. That's justified.
Yeah.
Okay.
Robin Hood, isn't it?
Yeah.
Same.
But it was the first time a movie had like bullet time. You know, the bullets went in and you saw the inside of their guts getting all septic and stuff. Well, Tucker was watching that on, I think, cable. And it was back in the day when we still had video players and DVD players under the telly. You know, when you had like, I don't know, 10 kilos of fucking tech under the telly just to watch a film. And he didn't know, but he was watching that. And it got to whatever time that Freeview came on Babe Station or whatever it was back in the day, like 2005. So basically, he went directly to the channel. So while he's watching Three Kings, he's gone 994. Watch that for 10 minutes. 106, straight back to Sky One, whatever it was.
So you changed the fucking channel. Babe Station was going to pop up for a second.
Imagine, with Mystery on the bed, shaking a phone. So he didn't realise that his mum and dad were recording Three Kings.
Right.
So
oh, shit.
Then, the next day... Sunday, he goes to
Tell me
his
his dad got the blame.
No, he goes to his nan's for like Sunday dinner, and they were like, "Oh, this is that film we were telling you about. Put it on." And he's literally sat there watching it, and he said it got 2 minutes before he changed the channel, and he just went cold. And he said, "Oh no," and he said he felt sick. And literally, it's not even like he was flicking through channels, and it was recording and flicking. He was like 994, 10 minutes. That's enough time for me. I'm going back to watch George Clooney finish off Saddam. And honestly, he said he tried to be asleep. He tried to like sleep on the settee. Oh man, no!
You got to cut the power.
Yeah,
you got to cut the power. You got to go right out to the road.
Yeah,
cut the power.
You've either
Whole
got to take the
neighborhood's
tape out, snap it,
eat it, snap it, and eat it quickly.
What are you doing? I've got a copy. I've got a backup of that. So yeah, he was absolutely fucking devo.
Oh no!
But that was, I think,
Funny,
videotapes. Yeah, they were dangerous, man.
Yeah,
they were dangerous. I had one. I had one that said blue on it. Because my dad used to refer to pornos as blues, and obviously he used to get videotapes and it said blue. So I can remember going into school and telling all my friends that I'd watched the latest Arnie film, and it was called Blue because on the tape it said blue. So my dad was like, that's the latest," and it was like Raw Deal or Red Sonja or something like that. He's like, "Go and put that in." And I can remember looking for like on IMDb for Arnie's filmography and looking for the film called Blue because I'd told everyone that's what it was. But it was only then when I was like, "Hold on. That was my dad's porno." You fucking idiot. So yeah, I tripped myself up.
Oh shit.
But I think a lot of shit like that is determined. So it's even like phrases. So you know, like when you've watched a film or you've seen it, especially quotable films when you were kids, like I know there's a lot said about dad jokes and things like that, but before you realise that your dad's telling dad jokes and you massively respect him, you hear a load of phrases. Like, there's stuff that I still use today that I heard my dad say when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that gets put into films from like people like Kroll and Adam Sandler and all the rest of it. So you get a little bit of insight into other people's upbringings.
Yeah.
And it keeps these sort of phrases alive.
It's like Bill Burr, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll put you through that fucking wall. That's
Yeah.
something that his dad
Exactly.
used to say to him.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it's like with the one on Dodgeball where he's like, "Cram it in your cramel, LaFleur." Like no one would ever say that, but I've said that ever since I watched the film. So like if the kids are kicking off about not eating something, I'll just say, "I'm going to cram it in your cramel," because but it's Dodgeball, but it's the same as I was doing an interview for my job at Egg, and I was explaining to the interviewer a point, and at the end of it I said, "Do you feel me knocking?" And he went, "I beg your pardon?" I said, "Do you feel me knocking?" He said, "Yeah." I went, "Let me in." And it's off next Friday.
Right.
So, you know, with Ice Cube,
Yeah.
Ice Cube gets sent away to his uncle's house, Uncle Elroy's, and Uncle Elroy's got a new wife because he won the lotto. And his wife is, I think she's called Sugar. And he's like, "Don't let me catch you with your hand in my refrigerator. Don't let me catch you with your finger in my sugar bowl. You feel me knocking? Let me in, Craig." And honestly, it's fucking gold.
See, the problem is you've got an encyclopedic memory. So when you throw something out and people don't get the reference, it's just like they get fucking lost.
Yeah, well, that's why
I wouldn't have got that.
I have a small circuit of people that will tolerate nonsense or have seen the same shit.
This is why really there should be a log online somewhere, like a pop culture log.
Yeah.
If you want to get all pop culture jokes, these are the movies and books and songs
Yeah,
you have to
yeah,
listen
maybe.
to, right?
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause there's a lot of stuff that like would fly over people's heads if they wouldn't get a reference to something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, true. I mean, it just surprises me how stuff sticks around.
Yeah.
And how stuff stays, because I know there's phrases that my dad said that I say that my kids are probably going to say. And there's not really any understanding as to why. It's like, my mate used to say, "Oh, fuck me running." And the thing is, I think it's a wicked phrase, but I've got no background as to why it's "fuck me running." Because it was his dad or someone said it to him. And it's like, and I know my dad used to say, "Oh, he's sweating like a carrot in a rabbit hutch," which I think is gold.
Yeah.
Especially for a kid.
Yeah.
But there's not as much explanation for that one. But it's just, I think it's more the movie quotes that you can pull out of stuff.
Yeah.
And because most people at a time in their life are quoting something, especially when, I mean, I know TikTok is the equivalent of what we had for adverts. So we'd learn the Mr. Soft song or the red car and a blue car at a race. Whereas now people are basically just dancing to an advert And that's TikTok, so they're sort of remembering it in a different way.
Yeah.
So we just had a different TikTok that wasn't recorded.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like you tell me someone.
Yeah, and it was kind of like it was random, but you'd know if you were sitting watching TV for a couple of hours in an evening, you'd probably see the same one 3 times.
Yeah.
Another one stuck out in my mind. I can't remember why it came to mind the other day, but it's like sometimes there'll like be a little like sound bite or something that will stick, like a song. Like, do you remember that the Spaceman Levi's advert?
Yeah.
Like that, like I remember that being played on TV, and then all of a sudden everyone was walking around at school singing the Spaceman. You know what I mean?
I always
but then if you
wanted
listen to the full song, it was shit.
Terrible. Like Blue.
Awful.
Was it Babylon Zoo?
Babylon Zoo. Yeah.
I had the single.
It started off really well with that little sample, and then it just went shit.
But can you remember Blue? I'm Blue, Dappin'
I do.
Oh, fuck off. Or even Flat Eric. Watch Flat Eric.
Yeah.
I just wanted the
good.
Teddy. He was wicked, but he's like, dun, 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 dun. But I wanted one, but it was shit.
Yeah, but that was an advert as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course, it was Levi's.
Is it Levi's?
Yeah, Flat
Fucking
Eric.
hell.
Or it was Levi's or Lee Jeans. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but it was there was that stuff that was like, you try and tell me someone from our generation that doesn't know the Fresh Prince rap word for word.
Yeah.
There isn't anyone.
I mean, if someone started singing it at school, everyone else would join in.
Without a doubt.
Like, and if you didn't, you're like,
yeah. Have you even got a telly?
right.
Do you not know Will Smith? Stupid. Do you know what I mean? It's like that was the big thing. It was memorizing shit. But I think as soon as you got films like Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society, Fridays, all that sort of stuff, it just took it to the next level. Do you know what I mean? So Adam Sandler was easily quotable because you've got Tap Tap Tappity on Happy Gilmore, or just Tappity.
Fucking Wedding Singer.
Yeah, Wedding Singer. So many. And a lot of your phrases are built from other shit. It's like when we were doing the ride along the other day, you said we were doing the night shift, and I said Marvin, and he giggled because he gets the Commodore's reference to the song, which is what's his name, Lionel Richie.
Yeah.
That sings Night Shift.
Lionel Richie.
Yeah. So it's stupid.
Yeah.
But it's weird that it's sort of, I think it happens everywhere.
It's like you kind of find your tribe by throwing out like a reference to something. And
1,000,000%.
Like one person in the room is going to go, oh, yeah, a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like Bottom was the big one for us.
Yeah.
Rick Mail,
Fucking
Adrian Edmondson.
brilliant.
To be able to quote like everyone.
Still haven't watched Drop Dead Fred. We were talking about it the other day. I still haven't watched it yet. I mean, I've watched it, but I haven't watched it in a while.
Yeah, you need to watch it again.
I need to sit down and watch it again as a grown-up.
It's so good.
That was one of the movies I had on my tape. Drop Dead Fred.
We had that at my dad's. We had that and the Goofy movie.
Then they got taped over all with Enter the Dragon on a loop.
Yeah.
I just got 3.5 or 2.5 Enter the Dragons.
I had 2 because I had the unedited version, which came in a video box, but it was a...
Have you watched the full versions of Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, years ago.
Have you? Yeah.
It took about 3
I
weeks.
mentioned it the other day, and like obviously Jamie's a big Lord of the Rings fan.
Yeah.
Was it Wad? He was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like he does it on a weekly. Oh yeah, no.
Back to back.
Unedited.
Motherfucker. Oh no.
Love it.
I watched them. I can't think I watched them all together.
No.
But it was one of
gonna do
them.
them this Christmas.
I would have got trapped into it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do them this Christmas.
We did all the Star Wars back to back once.
You've got to, haven't you?
Yeah,
You've got to. I have done the regular Lord of the Rings, all 3 together.
Yeah.
I did them on a day after a fight fucking years ago, but I've never done the extended versions. They sound pretty good.
No. I did Lethal Weapons once. That was good.
Yeah?
He's getting too old for this shit all the time.
Yeah.
Danny Glover's just had enough.
Might do Police Academy this year. I've got most of them on DVD.
I did that with the girls. We introduced the girls
That's
to
fucking
that.
brilliant.
Or with Bobcat Zathwaite or what's his name? You know, Zed.
Yeah.
Nice Mike. Where'd you put the batteries? Okay. When his watch stops. Yeah, my kids loved it because the thing is, they're risky. Like they start off. I think Police Academy 1's a 15 or an 18.
Really? Yeah.
It's an 18 or a 15. The first one.
What's his name in it? He's the Naked Gun guy.
Jones.
Leslie
Nielsen.
fucking-
No, he's not. Leslie Nielsen not in it.
What's his name?
Which one?
It's Leslie Summit, isn't it? The old dude with the white hair that does Naked Gun as
Yeah.
well.
No, it's a different. You mean Commandant Assad?
Oh, that's it. No, he is a different guy.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Oh, where's my goldfish?
Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen's in Naked Gun.
Yeah.
And Commandant Lassard.
Naked Gun, I forgot about them as well.
Yeah, see,
Hot Shots.
Hot
Another
Shots,
good one.
1 and 2, part 2.
The bit where he wraps his hands and dips them in the caramel and the jelly babies.
And I'd watch that just after Kickboxer as well.
Yeah.
I can watch it.
But that's another thing, right? References to things like if you watch the Family Guy Star Wars thing, like you wouldn't get the majority of the jokes. Like you'd enjoy it because it's Family Guy or whatever, but like you wouldn't get the majority of the bits
you need
where
to have seen it.
Yeah, they're referencing the movie and stuff.
But there's a lot of parodies. They used to do it a lot, even like Scary Movie, because then they wouldn't just be parodying Scream. They'd parody Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Urban Legend, Candyman, and something else. And whenever it started, it always started really well. You had a reasonable cast. I know the Wayans brothers were responsible for most of them, but you get like a reasonable cast. But then, you know, when it's Scary Movie 19, you're like, lads, listen.
And there's a bunch of people who look like famous actors, that you know, but they're not.
And they're parodying the fact that they're not even famous.
They pretend to be that actor playing another character in a movie, and they're not good at either of them.
And it's terrible.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's not good. It isn't good.
So how was your bowling anyway? You said it was good.
I was terrible. And it mattered far too much.
Yeah.
We had 3 games. First 2 games, I was, you're trying too hard. And then the last game I won. But I won with almost the same amount of points as the person who won the first game won with. So I upped my game. It's not like I just got everyone stoned and they couldn't bowl anymore, which is partly what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good. But I've noticed, I was saying to Slim the other day, bowling alleys have started putting pins with string at the top. So instead of it being like a racking system like the old AMF, it gets put back into the rack and dropped.
Yeah.
They now just get pulled back up on a string.
And then just like dropped onto their base.
Well, they just stood. But the problem is the string is always there. So if a ball hits that, surely the physics of a ball hitting a pin with a string or without a string is different.
Yeah.
And I just don't like it.
No.
I don't like change. It's that divorce thing.
I used to have this thing. My grandparents used to have it in their house, and it was like a big square thing with an arm.
Yeah.
And it used to have this chain and a ball on it.
Oh, yeah. And it
Remember
swings
that?
and hits.
And you had a bit of string and you used to pull it and you used to stand the
Stand them
pins
up,
back
yeah.
up.
That's on Malcolm in the
was
Middle.
That?
Well, was it like it's a diamond of pins?
Yeah.
And you've got one shot. And basically it's about the physics of trying
Yeah.
you're not allowed to hit direct. You've got to go past it once, haven't you? The backswing has to hit them.
Is that right? What's
Yeah.
it called? What's it called?
It's the world of bagatelle. You know bagatelle, the pinball where you've got a marble and it goes up a pinboard with nails in and it drops into.
Oh yeah, I've seen.
So
yeah.
it's in that sort of remit.
Yeah.
But I buy those
the
games.
shit that people did before Netflix.
Yeah, what you did before electric.
Yeah. Before you got one videotape for Christmas for
that you could record what you want. Yeah.
Whatever you wanted.
Yeah, especially with tape over it. Once you snap that thing off, you're like, oh fuck, I need to tape. I'll put some tape over it.
It's called skills.
Table
skills.
skills.
But I buy them every year. I buy those games every year.
Skills have kind of robbed the name now, though, haven't they? I mean, if you say table skills to someone just thinks skills all over the table.
Yeah, taste the rainbow. You got to taste the Skittles rainbow. But I bought. So there's a game called, I think it's Corkenol or something like that, which is I think it's Dutch. And it's like a big hexagonal board that you get these wooden discs that you have to hit into the middle.
Right.
Just real old school games that there's no screen, there's no nothing. We've got that, we've got Clask.
You're expecting a power cut this Christmas?
We'll just do it. But the thing is, no one talks to me at home. So if I've got a game...
But headlamps.
Yeah, I've got
and tools and games that don't need power.
Candle headlamps.
Candle headlamps.
So it's like we're going to the Black Country Museum. Can you remember that?
I do.
Or the Iron Bridge. You had to go to the Iron Bridge.
I remember going into
up.
Speedwell Cavern in Castleton, and they take you on this fucking canal underground.
Oh.
That don't make sense.
No.
You need a canal underground.
No,
I like a canal above ground, and I don't mind a cave underground.
Yeah, but
you don't
not
fucking
both.
combine the two.
See, in England, I trust safety measures in England slightly more than Cuba, and I did that in Cuba by accident. But we booked all our trips. It was our honeymoon, and you know when you get there and you're booking your trips and whatnot. We had everything sort of planned out for the whole fortnight, and we ended up on this weird farm that looked like Pablo Escobar's fucking garage. And it was like they trotted you down this little path, got you on these really narrow boats, and they took you through this underground canal. And the problem was, like I say, in England, there's regulations that have to be met. But you know, when you're there, they're like, yeah, fuck it, we're
Like trying to get you illegally across a border or something.
I think I crossed a couple of borders. Yeah, went to Florida and back.
I was going to say.
Just went to
and
Black
then we're in
Zillions.
Disney World.
Yeah, and then we came up and people started shooting at us. Honestly, it's underground canals.
Yeah,
fucking
nah,
weird. It's like
fuck that.
potholers. You know, you
Yeah.
see people
Nah.
they'll go through a gap that's just big enough, unless they get bloated.
Nah.
Fuck that.
Fuck that. But doubly fuck that when they're doing it with oxygen tanks that they're also breathing. Have you
Mate.
seen that, motherfucker?
Yeah.
And they're like sliding these oxygen tanks through.
Yeah.
Look.
Get a grip, man. What the? It's like Cowboy. Did you see Cowboy when he
Mate,
went free diving?
Honestly, Ollie and I were chatting about it on that. Was it yesterday, day before? That is one of the fucking craziest stories.
Horrible.
Like being stuck in an underground cave or a water cave.
Yeah.
And know that your oxygen's running out, and you're
But
like,
knowing your
fucking-
oxygen's run out, and he says, "I've got like 3 hours left."
Yeah.
So knowing that that's running out, and you've already almost come to the point where, like, okay, I'm dead, with 3 hours to go. That's fucking long, man.
And it's pitch black.
Yeah,
And the
and-
more time you spend moving around, the more disorientated you're going to be.
Yeah, and the problem is, anyone could think at the time, I could handle that.
Yeah. Was there like sand?
There was a
kicks up?
rope or something. There was a rope that he needed to get back to but couldn't find. But there was
Fucking hell.
like silt and everything. So there was no visibility. Hadn't he lost one of his tanks? But he'd literally just had his first baby as well.
Yeah.
So to not panic, I like to think I've got a cool head in a lot of situations. But there are other times as well where you just think, this is fucked.
Right.
Like, what is going on?
Fucking stick to cage fighting.
Yeah, mate. You know when he's used to fucking bull riding?
I won't be playing anything. I won't be doing any sports that involves me being underwater. I don't mind being underwater, but I'm not like fucking water polo. You ever played that?
Yeah, I don't mind that.
It's fucking vicious.
Yeah. But you
Like,
can
spend
get
most of the
a
time
lot of
trying to
elbows in.
drown.
Yeah, you can get a lot of elbows in. A lot.
Or it's like the start of like the swim portion of a triathlon.
Yeah.
Where it's basically just a fucking fist fight underwater.
How many people have you knocked out?
Yeah.
7 bodies.
I know.
Just from being clubbed.
Yeah.
Dude. It's,
48 competitors, 14 completed, the rest drowned.
yeah, they're all drowned. Why? Because Cowboy Cerrone decided he's going to do a triathlon and he's throwing nooks. Jesus. Did you see Ben Askren put a video on that it was the beginning of Masvidal versus
Yeah.
Diaz, and he goes, "Real men run towards danger, cowards run away."
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
The difference is he thought he was running towards a double leg takedown, not towards a knee.
Yeah, well,
Perception's different. Nate already knew he was getting a fucking beating.
exactly, mate. That was scary. But the thing is, it's like what you're willing to do. You're willing to lose your soul, run into that knee.
Yeah.
Off it goes.
Did you watch Sean Brady against Chiesa at the weekend?
I did.
Fucking hell.
I was frustrated.
Was you?
Yeah, because I now have the problem is, because I've met Michael Chiesa, I now feel affiliated to Michael Chiesa because he was a lovely dude.
Yeah.
And obviously, we've sent him some stuff. We had a wicked chat with him. We've seen him a few other times. We've texted back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's almost like a friend.
Yeah. Now you're in there with him, aren't you?
Then that's the problem. Because it's like with Stefan, when obviously me and Stefan were friends when he was fighting, it was difficult. Even when you fought and I'm sat in the fucking stands and you're fighting in Sadala, it's weird because it's an uncomfortable thing because it doesn't matter. You could have been playing tennis or anything, but you support someone else and you kind of want to either take over or be involved or do, but you can't do anything.
Can't do anything.
And when Chiesa, he's had this amazing like career and rise, and obviously even when you look at the Ultimate Fighter, to go out there with your friend, to lose your father, to go through everything he went through, to capitalize and still do what he said he was going to do. So as much as the heartbreak of his dad, it was justified to a degree because look what he's achieved. And then for the wins that he's got over people like Condit and other people, he's really stepped up. But then it's like he's got slightly stifled in the last two. I mean, obviously, Luque was he said he was overcommitting. But I think he looked better. But there was still a point where, like I've said before, it's hard to watch a fight and watch both people.
Yeah.
It's really difficult because you always follow someone naturally. You have to watch a fight twice, at least. So as much as obviously I'm invested in Mike, I want him to win, it's difficult to not watch both. And sometimes you can convince yourself, yeah, the judges could give it him. But unfortunately, it gets to a point then where you're like, nah, this is gone. It's a bit like Misha.
Yeah.
There was stuff that she did that you're like, well, fair enough. Yeah, you could. And then before you know it, once you've been dominated for at least 2 rounds, you're like, yeah.
Did you watch Davy Grant?
I did.
That was a hell of a
Incredible.
fight, wasn't it? Yeah,
Incredible.
Yanez is a good scrapper,
Mate.
a good fighter. But I don't know. I mean, it was really close. Stats were close and everything, but like, I mean, obviously Yanez was being a bit more effective with his striking, did more damage, like visibly damaged.
And
but,
elusive.
Yeah. Well, that's what Ollie was talking about with his head movement. It's a lot like Robbie Lawler, like slipping and rolling stuff.
Yeah.
So stuff that Davy Grant might have felt like he was landing pretty clean with, kind of like with Conor and Nate.
Yes.
Like he pitched that left hand over and over again and it was kind of glancing off the side of his head or his shoulder.
Exactly.
Not really landing with the same kind of weight.
Which I think that's the difficult thing, because you kind of get used to a level of judging. Like if they took every single judge out of the MMA world and replaced it with a new system, which is 99% the same, but they acknowledge the fact of a takedown being stuffed or someone's head movement or evasive movement, if that was judged, because it can be effective. Look at Conor against, well, pretty much anyone, because he's a counter puncher. There's a lot of elements, like with Eddie Alvarez, where he's getting out of the way. So he's not necessarily attacking or doing any damage, but he's putting himself in a better position. Whereas I don't think all judges necessarily look at that and go, fuck me, that's as good as a strike.
Yeah.
So,
well, the thing is, so the way that it's considered, and I like the way that Mark Goddard puts it, is defense is its own reward.
Yeah.
So if you're slipping and rolling and putting yourself in situations, then you're benefiting by being in those situations. Like I think sometimes, and my concern is that judges see it the opposite way. So they don't see you rolling the shots; they see you taking the shots.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think like sometimes I watch a fight and it will get to the end and I'll be like, I think this one's going to be a split decision.
Yeah.
Which means that I think one of the judges is not going to see the fight the same. You know what I mean? They're not going to. They're missing something.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, I feel like this person's won, but I feel like one of the judges is at least going to see it the
easy
other
to
way.
see. Yeah. And I think a lot of that can be down to, I mean, everyone can get distracted. It depends on what you're watching. Like, you only have to look away for a very split second. Like, the amount of times everyone in the world that has watched MMA has missed oh my God, like a big moment because you literally looked away for a second.
Yeah.
So as a judge, it's a really difficult thing. Like it's like they almost need every single angle, but for a person to watch every single angle is impossible.
Yeah.
But when you've got someone like Davey going forward, part of that momentum is carrying a split vote for him, whereas the technical element of his opponent is what's winning it for him. So it's kind of picking your poison a bit, because everyone won. That fight was gold. It was a bit like Gagey and Chandler. I honestly, for me, I was watching more Gagey because I'm a bigger fan of Gagey. But I do respect Chandler and I love watching him. But because I like Gagey more, I'm waiting for that. I'm watching his right hand. Yeah. Whereas
it's the same as like if you're watching Yair Rodriguez in Mexico City. Yeah. Like the crowd are always going to peak when he does something, even if he's not actually landing anything. You know what I mean? It's like like people are waiting on one person to deliver something. Usually, it's very rare that you get even fights where it's really really back and forth, like Felder against Dan Hooker.
Yes,
like you just don't know. And this is Rogan's argument about noise cancelling headphones and stuff, or having them in a room away from the fights. I think it's beneficial for the judge to be sitting octagon side and to have the screen in front of them. But most of the time they're watching the fight and they've got a specific angle which nobody else has got. They're seeing things that nobody else is seeing.
Okay.
It's a very unique perspective. Like, I noticed the difference. Like I'm commentating from the fight that I'm watching in front of me and from the screen that everybody else is seeing.
It's different.
It's sometimes different.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're seeing a shot land cleaner or a position that looks stronger or weaker than another. It is difficult, but like at the same time as that judge, even if a judge watching Felder and Hooker is absolutely tuned in and focused on this fight, the volume of the crowd in the background every time Hooker lands something, it goes whoa, and it's like how much is that
swaying?
Like subconsciously,
it's got to be.
It's got to be. I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm just using that fight as an example because it was a close one where the crowd obviously were invested in Hooker winning.
Yeah, but it's how things can be misinterpreted.
Yeah.
Or there's so many elements that affect the fighter massively, and I think sometimes I massively think that the judges should be fighters. There's enough of you guys now from 93 to now that have got a decent head on your shoulders. You know what you're looking at. You know what you're doing. You're constantly thinking about it and living this sport. Like Rich Franklin, Randy, all these people.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they want to sit and be a judge, but they can coach, they
there
can train.
are plenty of guys that weren't Randy Couture or
Exactly.
Rich Franklin that can find a place on a commission in their local state or whatever. Like there should be a program maybe in the UFC where if you come in towards retirement and you can, like Brian Kelleher, for example, stick your name down, get judging training, get refereeing training. You could be a cutman training, something that keeps you within the sport.
You know too much. Once you've seen behind the curtain, you organically learn
too much.
Yeah, you organically learn so much, and it's one of them things that it can't be taught. So like there's so many bits, but I think it would be interesting to have the Joe Rogan option of if we've got 3 judges, octagon side, and we call that the OG. So that's the normal way that they do it. But then they had 3 more judges in a silent room watching the same angle, with no preconceived ideas, anything, and see if they score it all exactly the same, or if you can tell, okay, because this person came out, it got a bigger pop or whatever.
Yeah.
Like when Faber had his head shaved, because in the Dominic Cruz fight, he felt that he was losing points because his head was moving and his hair was long, and it was looking like he was being punched, which, I've got to be honest, I think Faber lost the fight, but at the same time, there could be something in it if it was a split, because why didn't someone else give it him?
Like if you're watching Clay Guida and you're watching from behind in a punching exchange and you see him doing this, you might think he's taking those shots.
It's constant.
Yeah, for sure. Like I think I've mentioned this to you before, but in the Marcus Davis fight, there was a judge sat behind me as at the start of the 3rd round where I threw a low kick and Davis caught my ankle and I fell over. But the judge behind thought it was a knockdown. Yeah. And that influenced the scoring of that round.
And then that's a split.
Yeah.
But it's difficult because the problem is you're not getting 5 minutes in between. It's like, what's the rule at the minute? If they use the replay, then the fight's over.
No, that's changed now. It changed.
Have they stopped that?
Yeah, but it was kind of weirdly changed. It wasn't like an open discussion. It was after. Remember when Jessie Jess was it Sarah Alpar? Yeah. And there was the question around whether she was actually, like, her ass was touching the floor.
Oh, okay.
And was it Chris Tione? I think he didn't use replay because it wasn't allowed then. And I think he looked up at the screen and saw, and then kind of restart the fight. It was a bit of a messy situation. Now they have somebody on the outside, an official that can watch the footage back and then advise. So like there was a good example is Adam's last fight on Cage Warriors.
Oh yeah,
when he was fighting Martignoni, which is why I almost said that name. So I'm in Adam's corner. Rich Mitchell was refereeing. Dan Movaheady was on the outside, so he was the official watching the replays and stuff.
He's responsible.
And as this exchange happened, Adam threw a low kick and he posted his hand out, and one of his fingers caught the inside of Martignoni's eye, and it cut him.
Okay.
Now, when I first watched it on the first replay, I thought to myself that his hand was closed and that the cut was from the knuckles.
Yeah.
In which case, obviously, it would have been a TKO win. But then as they played the replay and Movaheady saw the other angle, he was like, no, it was a finger. And then they played that up on the big screen, and you could see it was most likely going to be his finger extended. But they're good circumstances. I think they always should have a person on the outside watching the thing, and they can restart the fight now. It used to only be in fight-ending sequences to determine what the decision was, whether it was a no contest or a disqualification or whatever else. But now they can.
Well, there's strange rules, though, isn't there? It's like when Stefan was did he take 3 nut shots?
Yeah.
And Dan, was it Dan?
Dan Mergliotta.
Yeah, and he said, look, if I stop the fight now, you've lost.
Yeah.
But if you get to the end of this round, I think there was a minute left in the second, something like that.
Yes, yeah.
If you get to the end of this one, then it's and you're like, what? Hold on.
Yeah.
I've just been hoofed in the sack 3 times by a tall dude.
Yeah. But the thing is, he knew in that moment that if he took a point, then he was influencing the scores. And then you go down to the conversation of only 3 rounds and only the 10-point must system and only 1-point deductions, and there's loads of little things that could be fixed. Like I think something where they do, like if you poke somebody in the eye twice, whether it's both accidental or not, like
Is there a point?
Yeah, it's got to be.
Well, it's going to make this.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you can walk out.
Oh, that reminds me. I got my new One gloves. Did you see?
I did see. I saw them last
week. I got
a
pair of mediums, and they fit Veronica lovely.
Oh, schmedium.
But they don't fit me very well.
No.
And I'm normally a medium, but I ordered extra large this time around.
Are they XL?
These are extra large. I am an extra large in these, yeah.
I don't think I am. But I'll try one.
Fucking
I'll
lovely.
not do the Velcro too close.
I haven't hit the bag in these yet. I did hit the bag for a little while in the mediums, but they're just a little bit too small.
But these are a lot more like Pride.
I could probably fit a wrap in there as well if I wanted a really skinny wrap.
Yeah.
Not like a sandwich wrap. Not like a hoisin duck wrap or anything like that.
Not a Caesar salad.
No. But look at that. Look how that's curved.
That's nice.
So like to extend my fingers now would be an effort.
Yeah.
Whereas even if with wraps on, because the wraps there's space in there for the wraps. But with the other gloves, when that's not a moulded piece of padding, it pulls your fucking hand open like this.
So how far off are we, do you think, to a change in a glove?
Well, I mean, it's only specific really to the UFC gloves, so I guess it depends on how many pairs they've got stacked up in the fucking warehouse.
Do you think that's the issue? It could
I don't know.
Because they've got to have them made, haven't they?
It might be a contract with someone, a manufacturer, to produce a certain amount. Or it might just be a case of, fuck, if we change the gloves, it's a massive overhaul of everything. The thing is, I don't think they need to look any different. They don't need to change like the look of them at all. It's just put a...
Just force... Yeah. Well, or even, like...
But did you notice on these how the fingers are longer as well?
That's what I was about to say. If it's just past here, it's harder to get your finger back.
Yeah. But then on the flip side to that, in defence of the UFC finger length, I think that's less of a problem on the UFC gloves.
Do you reckon that's going to cut?
I don't know. I mean, it's not ideal. It's pretty fucking hard, that is.
Yeah.
Like, if you caught someone with that... See, that's what I thought it was when Adam... Because Cage Warriors wear the Fairtex gloves as well.
Yes.
And when I first saw it, I thought that Adam had his eye closed and it was the edge of the glove that had done the damage.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
I'm still not against the idea that it was, because I didn't think there was space for his finger, but still. Anyway, the point still stands. It's just none of the gloves are perfect, but the most obvious one is you've got to put a curve in the padding.
Yeah.
It's got to have a curve in the padding to close the hand. It's naturally, like, people aren't naturally wide open hands anyway. Your hand's got a natural curve if you just relax it.
Yeah. Well,
like if you lay down at the end of a yoga session, you lay down, your hands don't fucking fall flat like that. They curl in.
Yeah.
Like, you need something that mimics that shape. It doesn't change the way that you grapple.
No.
I mean, how big's someone's wrist? It's not. You don't have to open your hand that wide to grab hold of them.
But it always spins me out when someone will do it 2 or 3 times. I'm like, fuck me. If I've done it once, I'm almost sitting. I'll put my hands in my pockets.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's
mate. And the other thing as well is the longer people can get away with it accidentally, the more you're going to find people try and do it intentionally.
Yeah.
Like there are a couple of fighters, and I'm not going to mention their names, but there's one fighter in particular who, I think he accidentally poked somebody in the eye and realised how effective it was at putting the fight in his advantage. And then there are 2 circumstances. One where he flicks his fingers out, and there's nothing it could be aside from I'm trying to fucking get my fingertips in your eyes. Yeah. And then the next fight, adapting the game to make it a bit less obvious, he was throwing his punch like that, and he was throwing the punch up into the eye socket, so it looked like a closed fist, but his thumb was going into the eye. And it was like a couple of times, it was like, motherfucker, like, well, how is that happening? He was like, no, close fist. Because
a lot of the times...
I'm seeing every angle, you know what I mean? I'm watching all 7 cameras, and I'm seeing this fucking little thumb sticking out here.
Because some people will really jump on the fact when someone will be poked. Some people will carry on going for it, and other people will immediately be like, oh, shit, are you okay, dude?
The thing is, as well, most of the time, if you poke somebody in the eye bad, you can feel it. It's like,
Mate,
sorry,
especially when it goes up like 2 knuckles.
Right?
When you watch it back, it's like...
You should know if you're 2 knuckles deep into someone, shouldn't you?
You definitely should know.
Right?
Yeah, pickled.
I mean, there's a general rule.
The only rule. That's the reason I stopped watching cartoons.
At least know their name.
Yeah. You got to buy them a drink or an ice cream, and you got to... I can't get into that conversation. I'll get arrested.
What's coming up? Aldo Font's coming up, isn't it?
Oh, mate.
What are your thoughts on that?
Aldo.
He's unbelievable,
I can't bet against him, ever.
He's only like 18 as well or something.
Yeah,
he's
18
really
and a half.
fucking young.
Yeah.
He's literally, I think he's like 32. It was the same thing with Max Holloway, Yair. They're both the same age.
Yeah. What the fuck?
But Max Holloway's been fighting for
When did Max start fighting?
I know, right?
Rush is going to be fighting that. He'll be on the card next week against Hasbulla.
Right?
Honestly.
Mate, that's a fight.
Do you reckon they're going to do that?
Nah.
The Hezbollah thing, they can't do that,
No,
can
they can't. The UFC would take such a fucking hit in credibility.
Because that'd be insane.
Like all of their network providers would be like, oh,
yeah, because as much as it's funny and it's cool and like it's
UFC
interesting.
and Triller presents Hezbollah.
Yeah, the problem is, you know that part of him would be gutted for missing out on the money.
Yeah.
Because there's money to be made.
For sure.
Because it's, without saying it's a freak
he'll
show.
probably be trying to figure out another way. Like, can I set up another promotion?
FCU.
Yeah. Yeah. Zuffa Boxing.
Yeah. No, because it can't be too close.
Yeah, what happened with that? Because at one moment, they were all wearing Zuffa Boxing T-shirts. And I'm thinking to myself, this is
Here we
interesting.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not
I wonder
seeing
if the movement that DAZN made have kind of scared them off a little bit.
Oh, maybe a
Everyone's
bit.
making moves. Probellum are doing all kinds of stuff at the
Are they
moment
doing
as
anyone?
well. Yeah, I keep seeing them popping up on my Instagram.
Oh, nice.
Good times being combat sports.
That's why we're here.
What do you reckon then, Aldo Font?
Aldo. The thing is, I can't go against Aldo. But the problem is, I was thinking about this the other day. I was having a conversation with myself about the GOAT status. And because of all the events recently, especially with...
Greatest of all teas.
Yeah, which is, as we know, pyramid bags.
Sainsbury's
Send them
decaf.
over. Yeah, Sainsbury's decaf will do. The GOAT status is it's never a stationary thing. So you know when husband's like, oh, I'm the greatest ever. But the problem was GSP was the greatest ever. And it's almost, you can put the GOAT status of anything almost down to iPhones being released. Because when the iPhone 3 came out, it was fucking amazing. But then when the 3GS came out, it was even better. And now we're on the 12, 13, 14, whatever it is. It's the best that it is at the time.
Yeah.
So it's hard to...
Yeah. No, but which iPhone is the best of all time?
Exactly, there isn't. It's an invalid argument because the first iPhone is the best because it changed the market. But if you gave me an iPhone 1 now, I wouldn't thank you for it because it's not going to work because it won't be updated anymore. But after Jan and Glover are having a title fight and championships are changing hands all over the place, it's difficult because obviously John Jones is never out of the conversation because he's such a freak athlete. Like the scary thing now is, I saw a post of his the other day, something about 60 days sober. If we've had a troubled youth Jones for the past however many years, which he's not been clean, so fresh and so clean, he's not been outcast. He's now fully focused. The guy's going to be a fucking savage.
Yeah.
And
you said outcast now. Now all I've got in my head is, sorry, Miss Jackson.
That was the first CD, the first tape I bought for my Fiat Uno.
Was it really?
Yeah. I am for real.
What is that? PM Dawn. Set Adrift.
Oh, nice.
Set Adrift on Memory So True. Was it called?
Dude.
Set Adrift on Memory Bliss.
Yeah. Why do I know that? Oh, dude.
Brilliant.
Spinning. Yeah, because
PM Dawn.
That's coming in the background now.
What we're talking about?
John Jones.
Yeah.
So,
Troubled Youth John Jones.
yeah. So, a focused one, like he's already got the GOAT status, but I think it just constantly moves. Like Hoist Gracie, because when you say, give me the Mount Rushmore of MMA, there's not enough heads. There's not enough faces. Like Matt Hughes was considered the greatest of all time because he had everything he needed at that time with the tools in his tool chest to beat anyone else. GSP came along and did way better with mixed martial arts. And then just because we've almost gone back now with the Triller side of things and with the sideshow. What is
Mate,
this?
I don't know what's going on. I think the military have moved in nearby. There's like fucking Chinook helicopters and shit
fully
flying over, right?
We've got Chinooks dropping in.
Like it's honestly, it's happening every day right now.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It's because they know that you're here.
Is that what it
They
is?
want to
Yeah.
come have a look.
Doing little flyovers.
Yeah, can I come in?
Ear tours.
Can I see your Lego?
No.
No, you cannot, fuckface. The freak show of the UFC was, can a boxer beat a wrestler? Can a wrestler beat a jiu-jitsu? All that sort of stuff. And we got away from that.
Fucking, did you see DC's list of best boxers in MMA? He put
Which one?
James Toney at the top. Like, you've got to be taking a piss, dude. He's got to be trying to get a rise out of that. Fucking best boxer of all time in MMA.
He wants to fight him. He just wants to fight. You should remember when Randy ankle picked him?
Yeah.
Do you want to win 500 grand? 500 grand? Yeah. dead.
I think he misunderstood the question. The question was, who's the best boxer that tried MMA?
Yeah.
Not the best boxer in MMA.
He had the balls.
Boxing for MMA is different.
Yeah, he got
and it's
paid
not
for
boxing;
it.
it's punching.
No, mate, that was bad. I met Randy about a month after that.
Yeah.
And we sat down and I was like, what are you telling me? And he was like, it was good, right? He said, I'd do any of those freak show
Payday,
fights.
fucking right.
Mate, it was just bank. Because it's like being good at anything and just fucking with a kid. It's like going, oh, do you think you can take the ball off me? And they've never seen a football in their life.
Fucking James Toney was such a good boxer. He's Mads Burnell's favourite boxer. You can see in his style he uses that Philly shell and stuff. But even at that point, James Toney at one point was in fucking shape.
Yes.
And he was a problem.
Yeah.
And then he started to kind of, whatever. And then he
like
kind of just started
burgers.
going up weight classes,
Yeah.
but not really gaining any good muscle mass.
No.
And then all of a sudden he's just kind of heavy and he's fighting Randy Couture with no takedown defense.
No.
Probably no training camp, really.
Randy did him a lot of favours, though, didn't he?
He didn't fucking really hurt him.
Let's get you out of here in the next couple of seconds.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's
And
not make this uncomfortable for you.
I think it was the first time that James Toney that grabbed the microphone out of Ariel's hand, and Ariel looked terrified because as much as it's James Toney and he's not an MMA guy, he's still a fucking big dude.
Yeah.
And obviously, me and Ariel are similar size. Who's just like yoik? He's like, yeah, no, okay,
Yeah, right.
okay. Let me know when I can have it back.
Like there are a few boxers that over the years that I thought to myself, like if they'd have got 6 to 12 months of MMA training, they'd have been really good. Like Bernard Hopkins, for sure was a scrapper. Like Tony Bellew as well.
Yeah.
I remember at Maymac he was talking about having a couple of MMA fights. I think he'd be really good. I think Tyson Fury would be really good if he could find some people to fight him. But he's probably going to be in KSW or Rising or something, innit? Fucking size of him.
I think
he's over heavyweight.
Yeah. The scary thing is when you are amazing at one thing, and then there's something that can bring you back down to earth.
Yeah.
So quick. I mean, jiu-jitsu is one of the most humbling things in the world. Even wrestling, someone just taking your gas tank or being winded, but someone still fucking you up is one of them things that you've been conditioned to. It's all about your guard and when you're striking and all the rest of it. And if you do get knocked down, you get a chance to stand back up. It's a fair fight and all the rest of it. If someone knocks you down, jumps on you and just starts laying elbows into you, when you've been conditioned to that, and that's part of the GOAT thing. So like after GSP and you've got Khabib and all the rest of them, they are learning this as a sport of mixed martial arts, as a whole complex thing. They're not coming in and going, I did taekwondo from being a kid, or I was a wrestler or whatever. Yeah. They're literally learning it all. Yeah. So it's a different GOAT to that GOAT because it was a different need for a skill set. So when you look at someone like, I don't know, Tyson Fury, any of them, because there's a chance that they can be shown up, that's a big hurdle to get over. So it's like when you look at someone like CM Punk, it's easy to write him off and think, he got laughed out of the building. Well, no, he was a really well-trained actor. I mean, wrestling is an absolutely amazing skill. Even though it's choreographed, to be able to do that day in, day out.
Very physical.
It's extremely
and you have
physical.
To be very durable as well, very tough.
And you've got to sell stuff to the crowd. Yeah. So, like, you've got to be a showman, a performer, and you've got to be able to take a hit, give a hit, and all the rest of it. So, to move across into something that was real and kind of survive.
Yeah. And I felt bad for him as well, because like most of the people that have that experience as their first experience in MMA, they do it on an amateur show where there's like 200 people watching and they never go back and no one ever hears about
Batista.
it.
Look at Dave Batista.
Yeah.
He's a fucking unit, right? He was a doorman. He's huge. So he is an intimidating, dominating figure. So without ever really having to try, even if someone starts on him, he's kind of shutting that shit down without having to get physical because he's massive.
Yeah.
So then to actually get the balls and put the shorts on and get in the cage, he gassed. I think he said he gassed in about 15 seconds. Right. And it was terrifying. And the problem is, you can see one of the kids at Hardy Warhead that has got a better gas tank and could probably outmaneuver him and get a win over Batista. But the difference is, that's embarrassing for Batista.
Whereas a couple of guys are throwing against Batista.
Yeah, and this is it. Yeah. But that's the interesting thing. But
even with the weight advantage.
Yeah, with
I
all
put
of it.
Rasto in there against him straight away. Rasto would be fucking carrying him around.
Nice.
But he's a maniac.
But that's terrifying, right?
Yeah. Well, you always get those pictures of like, what was it? I saw, was it MMA Uncensored popped up and he's got this fucking bodybuilder hitting pads.
Yeah.
Would you fight him for 10 grand? I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'd take it down and choke him out.
Yeah, like he'll be exhausted by the end of this video.
Mate, I can remember when I was at Thornton's, I was there with a lad called Jamie. He joined the Paras and he looked like the Milky Bar Kid, honestly. But he was one of the hardest kids I knew. And he grew up in Chesterfield, whereas we were across this side. So we used to meet. We both had motorbikes. That's how we sort of got to know each other. We were best mates at Thornton's. And he just grew up, and this is no disrespect to him, but he grew up rough. Him and his brother were always fighting, and I'm not saying they were the cocks of Chesterfield, but they were known for a bit of trouble. And one lad started Thornton's once, and he had a bit of swagger, because the problem was the shift was 5 till 10:30. So it was a lot of school mums, a lot of college people, but then you got the odd person that would come in, because not a lot of people, if you were going to last, you were in. If you weren't going to last, you'd probably be there an hour because of the smell or the fucking everything. It was horrible. And this one lad came in and he was the most swaggy, full tilt fucking Billy Strut. But he was a bit out of shape, but a big lad. And it was one of them that you knew he was there because he needed the money because he was broke, but he was trying to play off like he was the big man. So he'd pull up in like an E-Reg BMW, but like he's still fucking broke. And basically he cornered Jamie once because he looked like the Milky Bar Kid. He's got a hairnet on, he's got these little round glasses, we've got his overalls on, and he sort of turned around to him and shoved him out of the way on these big sinks. Like the sinks were massive round circles that had no taps. It was all infrared for the hygiene. And he sort of barged into him and he went, "Just watch yourself, Doc. Really nice." And what'd you say? He said, "Just, mate, I was washing my hands." And he started mouthing off at him and he says, "You couldn't lift your fat fucking hand by the time I'd have hit you 3 times. And this bloke sort of turned to look at him, and Jamie just went, pop, 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 pop. It's just like hit him in the stomach, not to show any bruise, and this guy just then, from that day, never saw him again. But it kind of humbled him because he went from trying to intimidate with this fucking attitude to someone who's essentially grown up intimidated his whole life. So some people, I don't particularly like confrontation because it gives you that, I can handle it, but it's that adrenaline dump of how you manage that, because it can make a lot of people shake. Yeah. And if you can, like John Jones says, when you got butterflies, it's just making them fly straight. So sometimes that, if you get that and you can contain your adrenaline and you can distribute it to the right area to then get into a fight, that's fine. But if you can't, it's not very nice. But because he's kind of been conditioned to fight from being 3 or 4, 5, 6 years old. Yeah. As soon as this guy came in, everyone else was like, "Oh fuck, he's a big dude,"
and it's like familiar for him.
And James was like, "All right, mate, you just fuck off," and he gave him a bit of lip, and he didn't even really look like he'd done anything. But this guy was honestly breathing through his arse. It's fucking brilliant. But I like that. Yeah. I like people being humbled. Yeah. But I like to see people come across. I like to see people try it, because even when Conor went to fight Mayweather, it's impressive. Yeah. That's not your sport.
No.
Because one of his greatest signs.
Same thing with Askren and Jake Paul, though, isn't it? Same thing with McGregor and Mayweather. Yeah. Like, in a fight situation, we all know it's different. So it's like, I think as MMA fighters, there's a bit of protection in the knowledge that we'll know if it was a fight, it'd be different. Yeah. Like Jake Paul, of course, he's going to have an advantage over Ben Askren in a boxing match. Yeah. But if you put it in any other scenario, Ben Askren wins. So it's almost like, well, you can beat me at cards, you can beat me at boxing, but in a fight, it's like I think MMA fighters, they compartmentalize it and see it as something different. Yeah. So although McGregor would have wanted to get the win over Mayweather, of course,
it's not a loss.
It's not a loss, because in the back of his mind, and he knows in the back of everybody's mind, we'll know the reality of the situation. It's
because it wasn't a real fight. Yeah, and that's why with the Jake Paul thing, I can get on board, I can respect it, I can be jazzed for some of it. But it's just at some point, you've got to you could always come across and have a go.
See, I think Jake Paul knows this, though. Like, I think this is why he's doing so well at it, because him and his brother Logan, they've figured out this. They've been acting like fools on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube for years. Like, this is just another way for him to kind of act out and get attention. Yeah. But he knows the game he's playing. Like, if he was really trying to prove something, he would have crossed over to MMA. Exactly. But he's not. He's like, I can do this. I'll stick to this. This is good. Like, I'm upset in the boxing world as it is. So, he really is.
That's the confidence that you can get from being financially secure. Like if you've got a few million behind you, it doesn't matter who you upset.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what situation you get into because you kind of you're stable. It's like even when you look at people with tattoos and they go past the sleeves. Back in the day, that was the everlasting job stopper. Oh, you can't have a tattoo here. Whereas it's all changing now.
Yeah.
Everything's getting different, and because obviously people are recognizing way more things, it works across so many other platforms. So Jake Paul is monetizing curiosity.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
And he's doing it through something that we've all got a final decision at the end. So even against Woodley, against Askren, because he's got a loud enough voice and he's got the confidence of the backing of his, I'm not just saying it's financial stability, but you know what it's like to know that I'm not going to rely on anyone else. I've got my back covered.
Peace of mind, isn't
exactly.
It? Yeah. But even so, even if he didn't have that, and this was an even playing field going in, but he was still coming at it from the YouTube direction, and like the new one now, obviously Tommy Fury's coming over from boxing. Like the reason I think this one's really interesting is because there's an immense amount of pressure on Tommy Fury.
Huge.
Way less like. There was almost no pressure on Ben Askren.
No.
He wasn't bothered at all. There was pressure on Tyron Woodley, and he didn't do too well with that pressure, but it still didn't, it wasn't terrible for him. Even a loss, it's like, but he was the UFC champion. Tommy Fury's a boxer.
Exactly.
And he's coming from a boxing family, and his brother is already a very successful boxer. So now he's stepping into this kind of circus world.
Yeah.
And acting one of the clowns when he's actually got to come out looking like the ringmaster.
Yeah.
And that's a difficult thing to do because Jake Paul's already accepted his position as the clown. So what else has he got to lose? And I'm not saying that disrespectfully, but it's like
but it's all public.
He's not like Jake Paul's not risking everything to do this. Tommy Fury, of course, can go off and do other things, but like he's owning this career as a boxer, as in like this is him. This is who he is. He's defined himself as that.
Yeah.
Jake Paul is not
taking.
No, he's
But it's like, in the American Office. So I know Michael is the butt of the joke. And there's one time where he falls into a pond, goes onto a business call and he falls into a pond. And he comes back and he doesn't want to talk about it. Because then everyone starts taking the piss and he really takes offence. And Jim Carrey sits down and goes, if you laugh at yourself, then it's not a big deal. And he went, and he sort of snapped back at him and went, well, that's because you're such a this. He's like, I am a fool. And he went, ah. Yeah. And it's like this light bulb moment. Yeah. And the problem is, with the Furies, this isn't just boxing.
No.
This isn't just a lifestyle. This is everything. Everything. And when I say that, it's either you get completely involved and you destroy this motherfucker, because even if Tommy Fury destroys him in 3 seconds, Jake's not going to shut up.
No.
He's still going to be there because he's got nothing to lose and everything to gain, because whatever he made off that, he's going to get again. And if he wants to do it again, he can. And it's almost like that bully that won't stop.
Yeah.
And because, when you want to ignore them, they'll go away. Yeah, most people will.
Yeah.
But there's always one that is a justified prick because he's probably the son of the headmaster or something else. He's just a thundercunt.
He's untouchable. Yeah, which is what Jake Paul is, because he's already got his bank account for him. He's got his and his fan base didn't start following him because he was a boxer.
No.
They started following him because they're curious of his life.
Yes. But now he's backing it up.
Yeah.
So now because he's handpicking these things. So did Tyron come out and say something like, I wasn't allowed to knock him out? Which, unfortunately, even if that's legit and that's carved in stone in the fucking museum, it still makes you look mad salty.
Yeah.
There's no... you can't say it. You can't come out and say, well, I lost, but I wasn't allowed to knock you out, because you look a bit like a bitch. And I'm not saying he is. I know you've obviously got things going on, but the problem is you can't say that.
But this is where his hesitations backfired and stuff, into it, because as soon as the fight was over, he was like, "Oh fuck, it's too late."
Yeah,
and that's where that's why he's not answering any questions about it, and he just keeps circling back to the same.
But then
thing,
that gets toxic, and that works worse. And the problem is, someone like Jake Paul sat there still laughing because he does not give half a fuck.
No, of course not.
Because this is just a game.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is he could literally go from this and then go into basketball or go into something else. Because guess what? Even if it's for one, let's say he goes into NASCAR.
Yeah. Everyone's going to fucking
They're
watch.
going to fucking watch it.
Of course they are.
And
Imagine him trying to get his own NASCAR sponsored. Imagine how much people would pay to be on that.
Of course they would. They'd be
Fucking
all
crazy.
over it. But you've got to respect that. And that comes down to me watching this guy on YouTube playing Call of Duty or whatever. It's a different generation. It's a different world now because everything is available. Everything's open. And it's how you capitalize on what they're doing, because like people arguing over goats and stuff and all the rest of it now is more analog because it's just so fucking irrelevant.
Yeah.
Whereas it's more interesting to see what the future is, and that's why the new gloves are interesting. Judging's interesting. What are we going to see different? Because there's not many sports that have started however many 100 years ago that we look at now and we go, fucking hell, can you remember the big shift?
Yeah.
Because there weren't any.
Well, it's not been documented as well, isn't it? Like MMA's being documented from the beginning.
Exactly. But that's what kind of keeps it interesting for me. Do you know what I mean? Because you look and it, even with like Rose and Wei Li, 1 or 2 strikes in a different play, that could have been a completely different fight.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's such an adrenaline rush. I fucking love it. There's a new game I want to start from it though.
We better call it in a minute because I'm going to get to the gym.
No worries. Well, I'm going to tell you this quick game then. I've got this written down. It's actually more relevant the other day because I was watching an event and Joe Rogan was there. So it must have been a numbered event. So it wouldn't have been the one that we were here. It was the one after.
Right.
It's Joe Rogan Buckaroo. From the first fight of the night when he gets in to interview them, you know, people start putting hats on Joe and flags and stuff on him. I think he needs to keep them all on.
Wear them all
the
the way
whole
through the
evening.
night. Everyone contributes something to his outfit.
And whenever it falls off, there's a forfeit or something. I don't know how it works, but it was just, people started piling stuff on Joe and I was like, oh my God, we could have Joe Rogan Buckaroo. That'd be gold.
I think it'd be even more entertaining to put him on DC and see if he can keep him on while he's eating his popcorn.
Dude.
Fucking hell.
That was terrifying.
That was like Colgate head flip.
Yeah. I thought it was Photoshop. I honestly thought he had like a banner or an iPad or something in his hand. But then when he was, because it's the way that Joe was just like
yeah.
Almost like,
it's like, you know the recording this, right?
Yeah.
There's a camera right there.
There's a camera there. I don't give a fuck. Mate, he was all in on that.
It's funny.
And it was like a movie prop from fucking Problem Child.
Yeah.
What? Who gets popcorn in a box? Is
I
that
know,
a thing?
it was fucking massive.
Honestly.
Yeah, I thought it was like a waste paper basket or something.
It was ridiculous. Insane. I don't think, hold on, what was I going to tell you? I don't think that was it. Yeah, that's pretty much, there's other shit in there, but it's far too long and you need to get to the gym. But yeah, Joe Rogan Buckaroo or DC
Joe Rogan
Buckaroo.
Buckaroo. I like it.
Yeah.
Which one's your pick?
Go
Put
for
it in the
it.
comment below.
Let us know. Don't forget Black Friday.
Yeah. Black Friday. Code is Black Friday. Oh, fuck. 20% off. I've just killed Raphael. But it was all for a good cause. Oh, no, is he? He's all right.
He's all right.
He's fucking angry, though.
He's
really
fuming.
angry. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, all good, man.
Fullreptile.co.uk. Black Friday.
Yeah, goes
See you
live Friday.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
Nice
dude.
one.
Cheers, man.
Catch you later.